Good morning, everyone. So I've been looking through my old archives. I have hundreds and hundreds of old projects and unfinished games and bits of art and so on that I've taken with me from computer to computer over the years. In the last video, I showed you that little golf game that I made for a client many years ago, back in 2003. And why that was of interest was the characters in that game actually ended up becoming the gladiators in Swords and Sandals. I'd been doing them about the same time, and I ended up using those characters in the golf game. But that just got me thinking, maybe I should show you a few more of my early experimental stuff. I have literally hundreds of these things. Today I'm just going to show you a couple of the early bits and pieces that made up Swords and Sandals. By that I mean little experimentations with some of the characters, Wolfgang and Sir Belgrave and so on, flash animations and that kind of thing. And there's about 4 or 5 things I want to show you, and we'll have a bit of fun with it. So the first one I want to show you is a little executable called the Brandor Story, and it was an introduction to, I think, was going to be some kind of role-playing game that I was going to make. I warn you, these are pretty crap. They're made in Flash, and some of them using sort of 3D rendered models that ended up being colorized and so on. But let's check it out. All right. So yeah, that was going to be the introduction for it, and why that one's interesting is that you do see King Lionel, Sir Belgrave, and Sir Wolfgang. This file is dated 17th of August 2000, so they'd been around since at least then, and I'd been making those characters for probably another decade earlier, drawing them by hand and so on. And I'm going to show you some more drawings of those in another video. The other 2 characters, JC, I don't know why I put her in, and she never appeared in any Swords and Sandals game. I don't really have a story behind her. But Grog Scummo is actually the arena master in Swords and Sandals 3. And he's sort of a bit of a trickster, a bit of a fraudulent shark of a character, a bit of a snake oil salesman, and he will appear in future Swords and Sandals games. Alright, now let me find the next video. Alright, the next thing I wanted to show you is, in fact, the next part of the Brandor Story, which I thought might have been a game, but it turns out is actually an animation. Maybe had been planning some kind of web animation series, which was popular back in the day, people doing these things and putting them on websites. This file is called chapter1.swif, so I apparently had planned a bunch of chapters that I was going to release, and this one stars one of the most beloved and most infamous characters in Swords and Sandals lore. It may be quite hard for you to read the text in this, so I'm going to narrate the video. Alright, here we go. Brandor Story. And you can read that. It's pretty big writing. So this is my old, dodgy Flash animation style. There's Grog flying to the citadel of Edengarth. An excellent meal, Lord.
Well, why tell me? I didn't cook it.
I was merely commenting on the quality of the mutton, Lord HeChaos.
You're not paid for your opinion, Legionnaire.
Hey, when was the last time I was paid?
Paid?
The heights of comedy. Right, that's it. That was it. That was going to be chapter 1. Hilarity ensues. All right, let's find the next file. Believe it or not, there is a second part to this story, but the next part is introducing a new character, also a Swords and Sandals favorite, Wolfgang of Shackleford, in some kind of pyramid adventure, I guess, because the file is called pharaoh.swift. Let's have a look.
Violates my tomb. If thou wilt steal from ancient kings, then thou shalt pay with thy life. There is no escape, mortal.
Right. Okay. So to explain that, I recorded those voices back in on the 26th of May 2000, and of course, altered my voice to play the evil pharaoh monster thingy. I'm not sure how that was going to fit into the Brandor story, but I guess the characters were going to be all brought together. Maybe someone Belgrave saves Wolfgang in the chapter after, but unfortunately there was no more chapters. The figure in that of Wolfgang is actually just a poser figure. If you've heard of Poser, it's an old 3D program, and you could output sort of this cartoony effect with it. I mixed that with some Photoshop backgrounds and a bit of trickery to get it all to work in Flash, and there it was, high quality. What can I show you next? Let's have a look. Next up, I want to show you the actual beginnings of Swords and Sandals. The first thing I ever did when I was planning to make this Gladiator fighting game was start drawing a character in Flash. And Flash was so cool for just animating things. You could just draw something with the little pen tool, turn it into a movie clip, and within a few minutes you could have it animated. Arms moving and legs and things like that, blinking. It was really designed for artists. It was quite a wonderful tool. So the first thing I did was create this little knight and have him dance around. So I'm going to show you him now. That's it. That's the very first Swords and Sandals character. He's not dynamic or anything like that. There is no sort of armor that comes off. It's not randomized. It's just a sword and some armor and stuff like that. I ended up using that sword actually. I think that armor as well. The background is just a little 3D background I made in a program called Bryce 3D back in the day. But I just needed it for a backdrop for him. But that was it. That was enough for me to think, oh yeah, this would make it for a really cool game if I could get someone else to fight him. So I actually started prototyping that. So the next file I'm going to show you is actually pretty cool. Because it's the very first sort of working demo of a gladiator moving around. So check this out. Yeah, that's it. That is the gladiator. So he didn't have any skin or anything like that. He's in the familiar breathing kind of pose. Those eyes are probably still the same eyes that I've used to this day, and same with the same feet. You can move him. He'd move forward. You can move him back. He'd move back. The heavy, medium, light animations, pretty similar to what they ended up being. I don't think I used that sort of spinning thing there. There's the block. All there. How cool is that? So that is evidence of, just how old this game is. That was done in 2002. So long time ago, and a long time before I ended up starting at that company that ended up making Swords and Sandals. A little footnote to all of this, a little bit of advice. I came up with this Gladiator game long before I started working for a games company, and when I started working there, I gave them this basically, and I was paid to work there, fair enough, but I gave up the rights to it. I didn't sign away anything or anything, but I didn't specifically say I want to keep this when I leave. I wish I had, because then I would own Swords and Sandals. I don't own Swords and Sandals. It's now with another publisher who has been very good to me, but unfortunately I don't own the rights to it. And one day maybe I can buy them and have them all 100% myself. But it's a shame, because it's all up here, and the whole thing has all been mine for many, many, many years. But I lost control of it, unfortunately. So, the next time I've learned a lot. I'm much older and wiser now. There's a lot more grey in the beard, and that will never happen again. Any new IP I come up with intellectual property I come up with, I'll be very careful to not let anyone else take control of it. On that note, let's have a look at the original Swords and Sandals, as it were known, in its original form. So this is now 2003 when this came out, and it was not called Swords and Sandals. In fact, it was called something else, and we'll have a look. It was called Who Wants to Be a Gladiator? So there's your font. That's your Swords and Sandals font there. The old, I forgot what it's called. I think it might be the same font that they use in Diablo from memory. It's the Sandals, but it says Gladiator. And you can create a Gladiator, begin a quest, the top 10 list, about the game, credits, blah, blah, blah. All there. There it is. So I've been planning to make this. I was working, I think at that agency, maybe it was, at the time. So I was just doing this at nights, having a bit of fun. So the different races are there: Fatorian, Archmagian, Eldor Hath, which is from where Antares comes from. I had a little bit of backstory for each of these, and this doesn't really reflect the current Brandor backstory, but that's Belgrave's race, the Dracondirians, a few other ones. Braxis ended up not being blue. That's where Wolfgang's from. But yeah, you could have a random gladiator. These were all the sprites, and these stayed on, which is pretty cool. You can give them his strength and stuff like that. And of course, there was the game intro, which you've probably seen before, but this has different music. So let's play it and go through it. Our story begins aboard the pirate galleon Macaque. 2 nights from port, the ship and her crew find themselves in the midst of a violent storm. Oblivious to the torrential weather outside, Captain Surly and his crew are doing what they do best: feasting, getting drunk, and singing sea shanties. I renamed the captain, I think. The ship sails on blindly through the night. It's not long before the fate takes a cruel turn, sending the Macaque straight for some crabs. The ship creaks violently as the rocks tear through its hull. Surprise turns to panic and then to blame as the pirates realize what has befallen them. But the time for blame is over. The Macaque is lost, and the crew must abandon ship or be taken with her to a watery grave in the deep. Old Captain Surly. As quickly as it began, the storm passes and the sea is quiet once more. You find yourself amongst the few survivors who surface in the icy water. So I think these are the characters that ended up in Swords and Sandals 1, having a little chat. It's pretty cool. I love this old animation. It was probably one of the most detailed animations I ever did. I put so much effort into it. With great sadness, you drag yourself into the crow's nest. It seems you may have little choice but to let the ocean currents take you where they may. I don't think that Tavington guy came with you in Swords and Sandals. I think it was just you, right? You drift onward, ever onward. Night becomes day, and then again night. But still there is no sign of land. Yeah, I don't remember all this dialogue either, but it's fun to see, huh? Finally, on the 3rd day since the shipwreck, you spot an island in the distance. It seems the gods have been fortunate, for now you are safe. And of course you arrive at Doomtrek. And the familiar arena of death. I love this element. I should have used this one actually. I kind of prefer it. And so it is that your greatest challenge is before you. Will you survive the challenges of the arena? No, we didn't get to read it. So yeah, you arrived, and there was a tavern called Murphy's that got taken out. Another Gladiator there, and the magic shop and the armor shop. That's not available yet. That's not available yet. Oh, the armory was. Good old Thargan, who was, Hulk Hogan, basically. You want to buy some armor? Sure. All that's there. It wasn't. Boots are great. That's all as far as I got. Boots are great. Great programming. I don't think we got any further than that. We'll have a quick fire it up again. So okay, like that. I wonder if I can skip all that. Skip all that. I just want to see if you can get into the arena. Oh yeah, yeah. This is what I wanted to show you. I wasn't sure I'd be able to find it. This was the second prototype. This huge kind of thing in the middle there, and obviously the text has all gone wrong. But you could select your power, then what kind of attack you wanted, then what kind of defense you wanted to do. You could. Don't think taunts are in there yet. Medium. A little bit clunkier. I think it was going to be sort of like if he attacked high, you want to defend high. It was a bit more rock, paper, scissors. See if we can beat him. It's a bit slower than Swords and Sandals, but the animations are still the same. Don't know if you can die in this. It doesn't seem to be... Oh no, you can. Clearly you can die because someone's head has been knocked clear off. Alas for them. So, yeah, and that was it. Oh, it starts again. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's it for the Swords and Sandals Flash archives for today anyway. That's all I can find. Soon I'm going to do some more of my old Flash games as well. There's a whole bunch of cool games that I made over the years that I'd love to show you. Let me know what you think in the comments of what became Swords and Sandals. All right, everybody. Have a great day, and bye for now.